qualifying time then for the GT Cup Open Europe. Round 2 of the season at Spa-Francorchamps, debuting last time at Paul Ricard for the 2022 season. It was a weekend of different winners last time out. Jan Larrison taking the first win of the season, the combination of Christopher Zirkling, Bashar Mardini taking race 2. The latter pairing not here. Jan Larrison is here, so a good opportunity for Jan Larrison here to improve up the order in this championship in the GT Cup Open Europe. You'll note that this time out it is all Porsches. Unfortunately, the Aston Martin from Street Art Racing not here, nor is the Chodson Toyota that we saw last time out. We know that the Aston Martin will join us again in the not too distant future, and I'm understanding there could well be some more manufacturers, some more teams on the grid as the season progresses. So it's going to be an interesting session here, all Porsches, but still variety in terms of car age and car specification. You've got this car, the 66 that we're seeing as an example now of Schaber Walter. That is a 992 GT3 Cup car. That's the most recent specification machine. It's ever so slightly reined in here in GT Cup Open Europe, so that the older cars, the 991 spec Porsches that were the primary car for the Porsche Carrera Cup from 2013 through 2020 is still competitive. We've got 3 of those older 991 spec cars out there on circuit. Here is Lucas Valkra at the wheel of the 53 car, one of the teams that we saw looking very competitive last time out at Paul Ricard. Of course, Lucas and teammate Dirk Schouten could well be favourites this season. One of 5 Q1 track racing entries here this weekend.
Yeah, very, very strong lineup at Q1. They come here heavily armed indeed, with a great run of drivers as well there. John de Wilder, incidentally, another man who has been impressing at AM level, actually scooped up both wins in AM last time out. As we've got a car slowing down just on the outside heading through, and that is Stefano Zanini heading through that section of the track, and wondering if he's having a few issues. He's pulling over at him, not looking overly healthy, that car. Stefano Zanini, the Porsche 911, off the track, and currently it doesn't look like that car's going to be running anytime soon.
No, Stefano Zanini sharing with Eugenio Pisani, the number 44 car out of the Eugenio Pisani SP Racing stable. This is their sister car, incidentally, the number 9 machine. But unfortunately, things not quite looking to be right there, although maybe a bit of a Control-Alt-Delete. The car is suddenly running again. Have you tried turning it off and on again? No. Okay, give it a shot, and seemingly it's working. Stefano Zanini has the car underway again. Let's see if he takes it into the pit lane or whether it's good to go for some flying laps. Yeah,
let's watch on now as the car makes its way through the bus stop chicane. Stefano Zanini at the wheel. He is going to continue, by the looks of it, and set a flying lap as we're now watching them make their way up through towards Les Combes. And now you can see Alex Fontana there in the car right now, currently making his way up through Kemmel and in through this next right and left, and through this initial section of the circuit, down through the next right-hander now at Malmedy, and then he'll make the descent now through towards the Bruxelles corner around turn 8. Whether you want to hook the car around, get as tight as he can to that apex. He'll drift out wide slightly, just give himself a little bit more access heading in towards turn 9 at the Jackie X corner. Rubs a little bit on the curbs there, doesn't even touch it, in fact, as he rounds this next left-hander in the silver livery here on this Porsche, and now makes his way down through towards Pouon, this very attractive left-hander, as he now does so. Looks to be well versed to his car as he now heads through this next left. You'll have certainly the chicane of Les Farnier at turns 12 and 13 to deal with. Here is none other than Jan Larrison, winner, well, certainly winner last time out as well at Paul Ricard, but he's come here and he's fastest in both free practice 1 and free practice 2. Jan Larrison showing really good pace this weekend, Adam.
Yep, he hasn't lost a race that he's competed in yet this season. He won the first race. Race 2, he was away for a family commitment. So in terms of races started, he's got a 100% record. We'll have to see whether he can continue that here this weekend. There is a 56 Q1 racing car. That's John de Wilder soloing in the AM class in that machine. And there, I think we have a time coming in here from Alex Fontana in the 67 car, and it's a mighty time by the looks of it as well. 2 purple sector for Fontana, who's coming around the final chicane. Now the bus stop awaits. And he doesn't have to catch a bus because he's got a Porsche, but Fontana, a hugely decorated GT racing star. Is he the fastest man out there right now? Yes, he is. A 2-minute 25.705 puts him well clear, 4.4 seconds clear of anyone else out there for the time being. They are running the 67 car, the same car that Mardini and Zirkling ran last time, same number, don't know if the same chassis, I must admit, but that 67 car looking very quick in the hands of Fontana.
Yeah, well versed to it, that's for sure. In the Pro-Am category, incidentally, we got drivers making up 2 categories here in this event, Pro-Am and Am. And Alex Fontana leads that Pro-Am contingent. Jan Larrison, the nearest Pro-Am currently to him, in 7th place. And in between, you've also, well, further down, you've got Lucas Valkyrie, who he, of course, performing well last time out at Paul Ricard as well. As Adam alluded to, one of the favourites certainly for the championship this season, and has performed mightily well to date. We'll have to wait and see what they can bring to the table. Of course, Lucas Valkyrie and Dirk Schouten with 1 pole position at Paul Ricard. Alex Fontana going quicker again, though, already managing to nestle in just under half a tenth of a second. So he is finding yet more pace on his previous lap time. So Fontana continuing to impress.
Yep, here's the sister car out of the GDL Racing stable, Chaba Walter at the wheel of the 66 car, which he shares with Andres Josephin, the Argentinian driver, joining us this weekend. And Chaba Walter running down towards Blanchimont now. He's some way off the time of Fontana, but he is looking like he can improve. Fontana, meanwhile, is purple in the first sector split and may well go even faster still. Chaba Walter through Blanchimont then. And let's see what Walter can do on this occasion. Down to 3rd fastest, incidentally, because John de Wilder has just improved to 2nd on a 2:28.517. Question is, can Chaba Walter set a time that bests John de Wilder once again? I don't think he's going to be able to do it. No, he does not. He's actually gone into the pit lane there. Meanwhile, Alex Fontana, it's just a few hundredths, but he is still improving sector on sector. How does the final sector look? Here comes Alex Fontana around the final corner, out onto the main straight once again, and it is a 2:25.711, so all of 6,000ths of a second down on his previous time. He was never more than a few hundredths plus or minus his own lap time. That is some mighty consistency out of Fontana.
Yeah, it's tremendous stuff. Just lost it heading into Sector 3, so a bit of a shame there for Fontana. I'm sure he would have liked to, well, they all want to better themselves. They all want to get higher up the order. They want to maximise their performance levels, but Fontana nonetheless still on top spot. John de Wilder, of course, twice an AM winner, as I alluded to earlier on, now currently sitting in 2nd place, 2nd fastest in this qualifying contingent, and amongst all these Porsches that are currently littered across this wonderful track of Spa-Francorchamps. Absolutely superb to bring this racing to you this weekend, as we can now see them make their way around this incredible track, as we're just seeing pan pictures now of John de Wilder's car making its way through this next right-hander. Still, yet again, looking to find a certain level of improvement as he now makes his way through. Incidentally, he's approximately just under 3/10 off the top time right now. Comes through this next right. And he'll have to negotiate his way through this next right again before heading out of Paul Frere and in towards turn 16, and Blanchimont coming up after that as he now makes his way through. You can see the rumbling hills of Spa as the Ardennes Forest creep onto the tarmac circuit. Jan Larrison back on track, and he has found yet more time in the first sector, so he has now got a mission ahead of him. He wants to usurp Alex Fontana.
Well, that would be a statement of intent if he can do so. Let's keep an eye on Jan Larrison then. In at that 54 car, bouncing over the curbs. Meanwhile, is the 56. John de Wilder certainly leaving nothing on the table through the bus stop chicane. What kind of lap can he set? It's a 2:28.59, so just a few hundredths off of his previous lap. Not bad going at all. Here's Jan Larrison, though. You see him really on the limit of adhesion there through the Fagnes bends. Let's see what his sector split looks like out of the Paul Frere curve. Rather apt here that we are running this grid of Porsche machinery through the Paul Frere curve. Paul Frere, obviously a journalist in the motoring industry here in Belgium, and he knew his Porsches. He's got the books to prove it. Unfortunately, Larrison, unfortunately, 8/10 down in that sector on Alex Fontana. Fontana, though, is a mighty measuring stick for everyone here, and certainly if Jan Larrison can get within a second or so of Fontana's time, I think that would be a job well done. Let's see what Larrison can do on this occasion then. A 2:26 in the offing potentially. Yes, a 2:26.927, and I reckon there's more to come out of that car. It looked like he was pressing on. There was a little bit of almost an inch of gravel taken at one point. He maybe has a couple of hundredths, maybe a couple of tenths to find. We'll see if he can challenge Fontana. Here's that run through Fagnes, and yeah, took all the curb he possibly could, and certainly Jan Larrison pressing on.
Yeah, that middle sector was the difference maker, but Jan Larrison looking to correct matters now. He's about to head through towards the Kemmel Straight. As you can now see him make his way up through this very dynamic part of the circuit. Next up, he will have Les Combes, which will take him through turns 5 and 6. This lovely deep blue coloured livery on this Porsche car. As he now makes his way through this next one, he has gone fastest in the first sector as well. Heads through this next right-hander. He's gone by quite a significant amount too, just under 2/10. So he is flying. Here comes Jan Larrison down through towards turn 8, down through towards the Bruxelles corner, and let's see if he can hook this one up. After this one, he takes a wider line than what we saw from the likes of Alex Fontana. Fontana favouring that inside line. You tend to see drivers opt for different methods around that particular curb. Heading out of Jackie X now, he has got Poo on this downhill in-swinging left-hander around this roller coaster circuit of Spa. Plenty to offer at a track such as this as he now makes his way around it. Just see there, just keeping away from the curb. Obviously, if you touch that, it's Spin City as he now makes his way down through towards the next chicane. He has got Les Fagnes coming up next. John de Wilder has gone green in all 3 sectors. Still in 3rd place, though. Jan Larrison still favouring that purple first sector right now. Comes out of the chicane at Les Fagnes, out of campus, and now heading down in towards this next double right-hander, soon to be Paul Frere as well. This could be a big lap here from Jan Larrison. He has lost a little bit of time, though, as he now makes his way through this next right-hander. Big moment. Needs a good sector 3 as he now makes his way through this next right. He's got Blanchimont coming up next as well. Bus stop soon too. But Adam, I'm sure he'd be looking to try and pull something at the bag heading out of sector 3.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to find a second in the 3rd sector, but he may be able to improve on his personal best time. What I'm reading from this is that maybe he's got a little less downforce, which is why he's so quick on the run up the Kemmel Straight, but maybe compromising him slightly in the middle sector. Might ask about that between sessions. 2:26.680 is a new PB, puts him within a second of Fontana's current benchmark with 6 minutes to go. Also worth noting, John de Wilder there in 3rd place. The first of the AM class runners is still pressing on. Here is Stefano Zerbi. Not really set a representative lap yet by the looks of it in at the wheel of the number 9 car. This is the oldest car we have on the circuit, a Generation 1 Porsche 991 Cup car. You can tell because it's got a slightly different front fascia there on the screen that you can see at the moment. That lap was a 2:38.8. Zerbi making gentle progress lap on lap, and we'll see how close he can get to the rest of the order, currently down at the back of the pack in the number 9 car. So let's see what else is going on the timing screens. Lucas Valkra is currently looking quite quick. He'll be coming into the final couple of corners at the moment in the 53 car. We take a look at the 51, however. That's Philip Toomkins at the wheel of the 51. Philip here for the first time this season with us in the 51. He will be driving solo when we go racing a little later on. Of course, some of the cars are shared, some of them are taken by just the one driver. We had an improvement that time by from Schaber Walter in the 66, so Schaber's gone 3rd fastest, knocking John de Wilder down a position by just a few hundredths of a second, and de Wilder's fired right back almost immediately there. So De Wilde with a 2:27.72 goes third fastest once again, all of half a tenth quicker than Schaber Walter. Lucas Valkra, I mentioned that he was improving, a 2:28.4 puts him fifth fastest at this stage.
Yeah, Lucas Valkra coming into this one, as I said earlier on, one pole position scored at Paul Ricard. We'll be hoping to try and do the same here, but time is ticking away. Just over 4 minutes still left to go, as we now watch Philip Tunkens now make his way down through towards the bus stop chicane now. The AM driver currently sat in P6 to see if there's any improvements that can be found here heading through this final part of the track. He's going to be making his way down through towards the source very shortly, staying out and about as he now heads up towards the line, and he does cross it as he remains in P6. Just getting an action replay of none other than Van der Velde making his way through this next part of the track. And a little bit of a rear loss heading out to that chicane as well, Adam.
It doesn't seem that they're quite sure who's at the wheel at the moment, because both Van der Velde and Van Dierendonck are listed to that car at the moment. So I don't think the transponder's quite registering who's there and who's not at the moment. Whether it's Van Dierendonck or Van der Velde, I'm not quite sure. I think it would be Van der Velde doing this session, though. We'll have to wait and see. Nonetheless, the 53 car here, Lucas Valkra once again improving.
Yeah, he is. He's currently green at this moment in time, finding a little bit of time in that first sector. So this could be a last gasp clutch finale here from Lucas Valkra, heading through the middle sector now, right through this next right-hander, looking to improve on his current position at P6. And heading now out of this next right, now this time at Paul Frere, P16 coming up. And he's going to make his way through Blanchimont at turn 17 after 16 now shortly, and has again lost a little bit of time, but has made a little bit improvement on his current personal best as he now heads through this next left. Of course, he'd be looking to unseat Philip Tunkens, currently in P5. Schaber Walter still in fourth as well. So a lot of battling happening in this AM category. Heading down in towards the bus stop chicane. Heading through turn 18 and 19. A big exit is what's necessary here for Lucas Valkra. Heads up towards the line now in that very luminous green car. Towards the line he goes, and at his P5 he does unseat Philip Tunkens. So there is an improvement there for Lucas Valkra, and the Pro-Am now rises up into P5.
So interesting stuff there. Valkra improving again, remaining in the fifth position. Glauco Solieri, he had some good fun, I think, in the last race. I seem to remember some good battles for him at Paul Ricard last month. Glauco is another driver running solo. I've also had it confirmed to me that Laurent van der Velde is solo this weekend, so no Nicolas van Dierendonck, unfortunately, at the wheel of the 52 Q1 track racing machine. So that means the majority of the grid will be solo drivers this weekend, which is very interesting indeed. Not quite what we've seen in the past out of GT Cup Open Europe. It's always been a healthy balance, but I think it's often tipped in favour of the two drivers, but seems more and more deciding to solo.
Absolutely, we've seen more and more of them. Certainly John de Wilde, he went solo at Paul Ricard, managed to scoop up, shall I say, 2 amateur wins, or 2 AM wins, should we say, at this point, and is certainly showing his pace too. Currently sat in third place across this overall order. So again, a good showing here from John de Wilde, looking to follow up from what he did at Paul Ricard. And here we can see that Schaber Walter, who did improve in the first sector, has lost quite a bit of it in sector 2. So currently sat in fourth. Lucas Valkra out on track as well. He has lost approximately half a second in the first sector alone as well. As we're now watching Schaber Walter make his way through the bus stop chicane. He'll be coming up across the line now very, very shortly. No, instead he comes into the pit lane. So there you have it, with just over half a second remaining here in the session. Half a minute, sorry, not half a second. Half a second remaining, incredible. Half a minute left in the session. Wow, I tell you what, that's a split second, Adam.
Just when we think George knows the answers, we change the questions.
Yes, we do. I like my questions.
Laurent van der Velde. Looks like he might have some front splitter damage, actually. The car, there was something flapping. It was not the front splitter itself, but something was flapping under the front of the car there. You just saw it as he came through Pouon. Van der Velde, though, with a decent time in that session, 8th fastest. Don't know if we're going to see any imminent improvements. Perhaps Philip Tukens, who's already moved up to 5th place there at the expense of Lucas Valkra. He's just gone fastest, well, rather, he's gone his personal best time through Sector 1. So maybe Tukens can try and break through into the top 4 on his final flying lap in that 51 car. However, it is quite a gulf between the top 4 and himself, 1.3 seconds. So if he can find that time, it would be very impressive. He runs just behind this car on the circuit as well. You can see again there the little flapping, whatever it is, a little bit of trim or something of that nature on the 52 Q1 track racing car of Laurent van der Velde. Meanwhile, just in the back of shot there briefly, we saw Tukens in the 51 car. So keep an eye on the Purple Peril, the 51 car in the back of shot as the 52 comes out of the final corner. Will Philip Tukens improve? The first two sectors would suggest he will. And he does, but not enough to move further up the order. A 2:28.959, a quicker time, but not an improvement up the order. So then Alex Fontana did it in just the 4 laps. He did the least laps of anybody, did what he needed to do, and brought the car back into the pit lane. 2:25.705 for Alex Fontana in the 67 GDL racing car. He tops the session by just under a second from Jan Larrison in that 54 car. And here is the car that came 3rd in the session. John de Wilder, the fastest of the AM class runners in the number 56. Another good run out of the Belgian driver here at his home venue. Jan Larrison, 2nd best in that qualifying session, and improved there as his stint went on. No one, though, could match the pace of Alex Fontana, putting on a masterclass here at Spa. So then Fontana, the Swiss driver, is once again at the top of a GT racing field, something he has done many times before with multiple manufacturers.
Alex Fontana, first race in the GT Cup Open Europe and pole position here at Spa.
Yeah, it's great to be back in such a way, because I've been in the GTOpen in 2011 when I won the European Formula 3 Open. Now it's called Aero Formula, so definitely it was a good school. It's been many years since I'm back in the paddock, but I'm happy to be joining again this weekend.
And how you see things for this afternoon?
Yeah, it looks good. The Porsche 992 of GTL was really competitive, so with only 2 laps we managed to set a good lap time, enough for pole position. And I'm happy also about my teammate Stefano Borghi, a bronze driver that is improving every session of the weekend. So I'm really looking forward to see how the race goes, but I would say that the car was fantastically prepared by GTL. For me, it's the first time on this car in a race weekend, so I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. All the best for later.
Great to have Alex Fontana back in the paddock with us then, and he was the fastest of the drivers in that session. Jan Larrison just behind him. De Wilder and Schauber Walter will start on the 2nd row. Philip Tukens and Lucas Valkra 5th and 6th. Florent Tinsescu in 7th, Laurent van der Velde 8th, Glauco Solieri 9th, Stefano Zanini rounding out the top 10 ahead of Stefano Zerbi in the number 9 car. That was our qualifying session then for the GT Cup Open Europe. They'll be racing at 5 o'clock local time here at Spa later on today. Make sure you tune in.